Hey, for lifers, how's it going? Oh, I'm a little bit like angled weird today. Well, we'll make do. Uh, yeah, we're just gonna have to make do. Let's see if I can. Why am I crooked? I have a gimbal. Well, that's gonna be the best that we can do today. So, thanks a lot for joining, everyone. We're here on this beautiful Saturday evening in November to review a figure that I've had for quite a while, but I haven't opened. And this is Sonic Warrior from Mechanical Alliance. This is their version of a Bumblebee movie, Soundwave. So in the epic intro to that movie, we saw a bunch of designs. This was one of them with Soundwave here. So let me know in the live poll that I have down. Do you prefer the Bayverse version of Soundwave or the Bumblebee version one? So here's the box. Mechanical Alliance SX02 diecast metal transformages, ages 16 plus. Nothing really to report on the box, all pretty plain stuff, just Sonic Warrior, nothing on the bottom. Even on the back looks the same as the front. So we'll just skip that. He does come in a plastic clamshell. Hey, Titan. Hey, Shirokuro. Hey, Grimlock. Hey, Robot Show Tunes. Who else have we got here? Prince and Phalanx, Freakenstein. He also comes with instructions, and these are the worst instructions. They're just awful. This is not even a complex transformation, and they don't even do it justice. They also don't even show Ravage at all, like not even in a promo shot with him, let alone the transformation. So I had to go look at basically every review on the internet for this guy. Ben's Collectibles was the one that helped the most, I would say. But even he cuts a lot, which made it hard to follow. And there's some things that I think I figured out that are not that were not really detailed anywhere. So opening this up, he does have a little piece of plastic that helps protect the paint. He comes in robot mode, so he is fully transformable, unlike say the 3-0 figures. He comes with a blaster here. He comes with his shoulder cannon. He comes with Ravage. And he comes with a blast effect in translucent blue. All right. He does come in robot mode, so no need to do anything crazy here. He does look quite nice. The thing that you do need to do is make sure that you have this peg. So it's a peg with a little swivel here. There are two ports at the bottom. The one closer to the middle is really for alt mode, and then this one back here is for robot mode. I wish the peg was a little bit tighter, and I actually wish that you could flip these around, but this one is even looser. So in alt mode in particular, it would be nice if we had the hinge up here, but you really have to stick with this, unfortunately. So you have an angle like that. You want this peg to be facing forward. You have a port on either of his shoulders. We'll just do it in his iconic right shoulder there. And there we have that. His gun here is nicely painted. It is weathered. You can see here there's some like dry brushing with some silver paint. Actually quite nicely detailed. It has a handle which folds up for what's it called? Alt mode. And then he has a second one that folds out for alt mode, which is just kind of weird. I don't know why they felt the need to do it that way. You can also see that there's screws here. You can open this up. And I want to say that the two batteries, mine came pre-installed, but I believe the batteries are LR41. You know what? Just to do my due diligence. And again, they don't even tell you in the instructions. I think I heard from Ben's Collectible. You can look at the battery. They are LR41. You need two of those. You need the flat side facing the back. You just plug that in there. Get this in. Reinstall the Phillips screwdriver. And then I was having a hard time finding where this button was. It's usually like very easy to spot, like a very obvious button. This one, it's actually underneath the bottom here, and you have to go in here like this and press it. And it actually shoots out a blue LED, which is kind of interesting. I would have expected red, but I don't remember if the movie had him shooting blue. He also can put the blast effect. It does light up. It's actually pretty decent, but obviously underneath my studio lights here, you don't see it all that well. This is almost like very anime-ish in the sense that it has like even a molded detail that looks very animated. But yeah, that works. Put that off to the side. The downside of this figure, well, one of the many downsides of this figure, and there are many, is that he doesn't hold the weapon very well. And that's because even though he has like a big slot that you would expect to use, he does not actually use that. And his thumb is also very tight on this ball peg, which makes it hard to get the actual gun in the handle. The best way to do it is to probably try to get his finger into the trigger point here, the trigger guard, whatever you want to call it. But even then, it doesn't work particularly well. So you can get it to hold with a lot of massaging. I'm probably not going to be able to do it very well live on camera. But yeah, it's not the best. Everybody complained about it. I even saw on TFW people putting some like molding putty here to extend it so that you can attach here. But yeah, it's not great. And with most of this figure's joints, they're quite loose. So if these were maybe a little bit tighter, it could hold better. But unfortunately, not. Let's see, what else do we have here? Overall, the first impressions when I got this guy out of the packaging was that he is very loose feeling. He feels kind of cheap, especially the arms. They feel pretty cheap. I was expecting it to be a little bit more solid, especially since on the box it talks about like die-cast metal transformation. There is definitely die-cast. Like I think this chest piece here is die-cast. I think a lot of his feet, or at least the bottom of his foot, is die-cast. There are some pieces here and there, but he doesn't feel like super hefty given the size. Like I said, the arms in particular feel very cheap, and because a lot of the joints are loose, it gives off that feeling of a little bit cheapness. This elbow actually locks in if you straighten that out. It's kind of weird that it locks in and unlocks, but in any case, yeah, it's stuff like this, right? It's a little bit looser than I would like. Additionally, the other effect that he has is that he has LEDs in his eyes, and mine also came with batteries, and these are SR621. You get 2 of those. Mine's very finicky. I'm gonna see if it works. Okay, it does work. Mine was really finicky that you had to have the batteries in a certain position, and I bent the tabs to make it work. Hey, Clinical, how's it going? So they make better contact. But once you get it done, it does look very nice, as you can see here. Even under, again, my studio lights, it looks very cool, very Soundwave-ish. So I like that. That is very nice looking. We'll turn it off really quickly. And it's also held on by magnets, which is always nice. Makes it a little bit easier. So 2 sets of LEDs. There's no LEDs in the shoulder cannon, but that's okay. Hey, Grimlock, how's it going? We're talking about Kielbasa and stuff. What is going on here? Back like this live chat is like our Discord. All right. I think Clinical is in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. No? All right, but overall, he does actually look quite good, though. He does have, again, whether you like the mechanical wear, it's personal preference, but I like it. All my figures from the Bumblebee Movieverse have some amount of detailing and wear. Very clean. Just looking at it, you might not think it transforms, but it does. But again, as the title suggests, I mean, he kind of transforms. It's like a very... Well, we didn't see his alt mode, so they had some liberties that they could play. So, all right. Very quickly, before we move on, I did want to show off a couple of things like the weight. So as the scale zeroes out, let me also get my tape measure so you guys can see how tall he is. So in grams with his shoulder cannon, he is 522 grams, or 1 pound, 2.4 ounces. Move that off to the side here. In terms of height, he stands at a whopping, probably like 11 1/4 inches tall. I don't know how tall that is in centimeters. Probably something like 27-ish centimeters or something like that. So he's quite tall. He also comes with Ravage. This is the last accessory. I haven't talked about him yet, but he comes mostly in his, I guess, Jaguar mode, but he definitely looks more like a wolf than a Jaguar. But that was the design. He can also fit in the chest. We're going to do that probably at the end. Because, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that now, just because it might make sense to do it. Again, I don't have instructions, and I tried to follow along with a couple of folks who did this. So if the instructions are incorrect, I apologize. I just don't know. It's just a lot of guesswork. So I think you open this up. You need to angle the nose in just a little bit to clear here. Close that up. The arms, I should have done articulation first, actually. That would make more sense. Let me do articulation. He's also very difficult to get the head out. So I always break him kind of in half because, again, you have to angle the nose to clear. So let me do the articulation first. So I guess you can count this as kind of an ab crunch. His arms are front forearms, I guess, are on a swivel, but also in a ball peg into the shoulder itself. His elbow, he has actually double jointed elbow. You can extend here, and you probably want to have it collapse for most of the posing, but he has a double jointed here, which allows him to go pretty far forward and then very far back. It's supposed to be used to curl, I think, backwards in his transformation here. So you can go like that. But you do want to probably have it collapse so you don't have a gap there. His paw also has double hinges. So you can get it all the way forward and all the way back around. His head is on a hinge at the base and then a ball joint at the neck or ball peg. His mouth does open so he can go roar a little bit. And he does have actually nice details, red details, and he has some detailing battle damage as well. So the ball pegs are nice since he can emote a little bit more. You can have him splayed out his front paws to make it look a little more menacing. And again, you can have it like shrunken up so he's a little bit sleeker. The middle, we did talk about the transformation joint, but you can use it for like a articulation point. His blasters, I believe, can actually come undone. Yeah, they're pegged in so they can rotate on that. They're also on a hinge as well as a ball peg. So get a lot of range there. He has I don't even know what you would call this, kind of like a knee joint here. Goes pretty far. Double jointed ankles here. And then I guess, I don't know. All these pieces, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 joints here at the rear leg. His tail also has, my left hinge is a little weak, as you can see here, not compared to the right one that holds. So probably just need some Kiki or something like that. I always mention Kiki, but I've never used Kiki before. But TM Reviews swears by it. And then tail has several segments here, pin joints at the base. 1, 2, 3, 4 total pin joints, so you can get a lot of curvature there. So the Ravage is actually very nice, and in many ways, I think it's a lot cooler than the figure here itself. But transformation-wise, let's go ahead and do that again. So let's start over. Hey, Grimlock. Hip display. All right, let's go ahead and push that in. Oh, she has great delivery service. Yeah, I'm just so lazy. I barely put on like symbols, let alone like tweak my figure. So do that. As I mentioned before, you want to kind of pull out on this double joint. You want to bend it backwards on itself like that. And then like this, I think. Or did I do it this way? I forget which way I did it. But we'll just do it that way for now. Just bring this around. It's making... Oh. Sorry, my DTOF was like rattling for some reason. You want to bring this piece down, and you want to get these kind of flared to the front like this. You want to break the figure in half. And then I found that when you pull the tail down, you kind of want to just get it as close to the body as possible. So I kind of go like this. I've seen other people fold it all the way down as well, but that gives a little bit more sticking out. I'm not really sure. The back, you basically just fold this backwards on itself, the legs back on itself like so. I believe you want to get it so it stands like this. And I believe it's supposed to look like this. All right, so we're going to experiment here because I did not do a very good job trying to remember how this all works. There we go. And I believe this goes up like that. So you want to have it kind of like this, I believe. So we'll see how it goes. Bringing this up. This piece is actually very hard to open. This is very heavy. You can see it flopping open. Oddly enough, there's also another hinge up here, which it doesn't seem to be used for anything. But it probably makes it a little bit easier to transform the head. But once you have this down, I believe you want to have it so that the blasters point down, if I'm not mistaken. These two tabs point up, and you just kind of just push it in like so. Yep, we got it. And then you close that up. And with that, you have Ravage in his kind of tape cassette storage mode. So yeah, that's it. We're going to take him out because we need to have him out for transformation. Let's go into articulation for this figure. He does have a ball jointed neck, but because of all the molding around the neck and like the squatness of it, you can't even turn left or right very easily without him having to look up. So he always has to look at a bit of an angle, which is disappointing. He doesn't have any hinge, just the ball joint there. The details are nice on his face, though. Again, a lot of nice paint details. His shoulders rotate around on a hinge. They can also go out to the side. You can move these shoulder pieces. They're on a double hinge. You can move them out to the side. You can hear it ratchet there and rotate. Additionally, he does have a little bit of a butterfly joint. It goes backwards only. Doesn't go forward. He has a bicep swivel, which goes around. Be careful to not run into his shoulder stuff. As I mentioned before, he does actually have a tabbed in elbow joint. So he has a lower elbow joint here, but if you pull out on this, he has a second one, which gives you a lot more range. It is quite loose, like I said, with most of his joints. There we go. His wrist is on a ball peg here. So he can go like this. He can't go backwards. His thumb, the base of it is on a ball peg. And he has one additional pin joint there. All four of his fingers are individually articulated and individually sized, so that they're all different lengths. They also all have 1, 2, 3 pin joints of articulation. I wish they were a little bit tighter, especially with this ball joint on the wrist. Let's see what else we got here. Coming to the waist itself, be careful with these pieces. They tend to run into things, but he can rotate. You can see it keeps popping out. If you need to move these out of the way, they untab, but you can get 360 on that. He also has double jointed like midsection that extend and that you can use as kind of an ab crunch. So if you extend this open, untab these, you'll see that he has one, two, I guess a triple hinge here. But if you keep it close, you can kind of make it use of it as an ab crunch. Looks obviously very bad when you have it open like this, but if you keep it kind of close like that, it doesn't look terrible, I suppose. But at least it's there. His hip skirts here are kind of annoying. They're on ball pegs. You can kind of get them out of the way sometimes for some poses, but they always feel like you run into them and might damage them, so just be careful with that. His hips, for some reason, they drop down a little bit. I don't know why. I don't think it adds much, but I guess to give you a little bit more hip forward movement and back. His hip skirts in the back can rise back so you can get them out to the back. Out to the side, you get more if you lower the hip down, and that gives you a little bit of extra clearance here. You have these thigh covers, which cover up his alt mode treads. They're on double hinges. His knees, he has knee bend here, which again, kind of like the upper elbow joint is locked into place initially, but you can break it loose to give you like that. You can also bend here. And if you undo this calf cover, you can get it to go all the way around like that. That's really for transformation, and it breaks up the look, but it's a decent amount of range for the double jointed knees. He does have a thigh swivel. What else am I missing? Oh, on the ankles, he can rotate all the way around. He can slightly rotate back. Maybe slightly forward. Yeah, you can start running into stuff. And then he has this weird toe, which, sorry, he's all floppy. It extends outwards, but and hinges. And also, I thought it also hinged up this way. Yeah, I guess it's just collapsing, but it's weird. So you can kind of point it up and you can kind of point it down. But the way it's done is like as a telescoping joint. It's very odd. And then he has die cast in the feet. All right, so I think that's it for his articulation. Oh, his cannon, we already talked about that. They can move around on this post here as well as the post at the top. And then there's the hinge joint. All right, so let's go ahead and do some quick comparisons before we get into transformation. First things first, if you guys saw my short that I posted today, I was like, I'm pretty sure I have 3 zeros Soundwave, and I did. It was not open. I literally just opened it maybe 20 minutes ago, or I guess more than 20 minutes ago now, just to do the comparison. I'll have to do a review at some point. Here's also some transformable figures. I have a couple of movie Bumblebee figures, like a couple Blitzwings and so forth, but I think the most fair comparison would be to compare it to other figures that transform. And I think this is the Toy World one. I never got the Magnificent Mecha one. I did want it, but it was so expensive. I might have to get it at some point. But I do still want it. So there you go. All right. There's your comparisons. Get these guys out the way, and then we'll finally get into transformation. I'm sorry it's taking so long just to get into transformation. All right. The transformation shouldn't be too tough on this guy. If you had like proper instructions, he's actually very simple. But when you don't have instructions, this guy is totally complicated. So no Springer. I didn't get the $1.99. It doesn't make sense. He's not a MP figure. So, all right. First things first, we're going to get rid of this thing. All right. Then we'll go ahead and just push his head down. His head's on a collapsing joint. So his head goes into the body. Oh, it's a little scary the first couple times you do it, even the second or every single time you do it. So you collapse that in like so. Still see the top of the head. We're going to come over here. We're going to pull up on this panel and this panel. And then pull back. They're pegged in there. You want to fold these in. You want to lift this up. And then this piece is on like a extension or telescoping joint. You want to pull this up as far as you can, which is actually quite tough. And I don't even know if I can get it all the way. And then you have to clear it here, which is a very tight clearance. And then you're going to keep these up, and this is going to kind of fold over on top. It doesn't peg in or anything, but that's how it sits. Next up, let's just get the arms up and out of the way so you can see this. You're going to pull out on this section here. Just pull it up. Then that'll give you room to pull this down. There's a little tab right here for these treads to come down. That will click into place. This is a gap filler that flips up like so. Just fold this down for now. We're going to have to flip it upside down in a bit. But on this side, the elbow, you want to rotate this out, but you also need to rotate this shoulder joint 90 degrees downward. And it's just weird to try to do that. So it's much easier to try to get it started by pulling down a bit. See how the screw is being exposed? You need that screw to be facing directly forward. So you just want to get it started and then just rotate it down with your thumb or however you can do it. You want the arm 90 degrees though. This elbow joint with the screw facing you. This shoulder joint like so. You want to have this tab here. And that's going to tab in. We're going to go ahead and deal with the hands now. Let's go ahead and fold up the thumb and curl up the fingers like so. Get it as compact as possible. And then we're going to open up the forearm. You do need to have the fist rotated sideways to rotate in and close. And then flip up this, flip up this panel here, which is a separate panel than the one we opened to get the hand in. And you rotate this down, you'll see there's a tab right there. Sorry, it's not closed all the way. There we go. And that's how it's supposed to look. Very kind of weird. But same thing on the other side. We'll just get the arm up and out of the way. We'll go ahead and untab this section. We're going to fold this down, the treads down. Fold up the gap filler here. Just fold this down into place for now. Oh, sorry. This thing has to rotate up and around. And it just sits in place there. All right, same thing on this side. Remember, try to get it started by rotating the arm down to try to expose that front screw. This camera. Okay, so try to get it down, started, rotate this back, and then just kind of push down like so. Rotate at the bicep. This tab is going to go right in here. Flip this up. Let's get the hand all curled up. Open up this panel. Rotate the fist. Rotate that in. Close that up. And then fold that down to tab this into place. Come on. I don't know why this is interfering. This should not be interfering. Okay. So there you go. That's his upper body. That's how it's supposed to look. Kind of random, but that's what it is. I'll get this up and around like so. All right, now we're going to deal with the lower body. First thing I always forget to do is flip up these hip skirts. You're going to need those like this. You're going to break the body in half with those triple hinge here. You want to rotate at this hinge all the way around and then push this section into that gap here. That will allow you to, we're going to do some cleanup later. These tabs don't hold all together all that well. Those pegs now will peg into the back. It's hard to see what's going on here. What's going on? Yeah, so I just have to re-tab everything in. So it's a very annoying figure. We'll give it that. All right. Now comes, what? This didn't even peg in? Okay. Now comes the quote-unquote fun part. Dealing with the legs. So there's one thing that I think that everyone's missed. So you know how I showed you these shoulder pads are on like double hinges? I believe that these are supposed to come out a little bit like so and create a gap here that tabs into this. And I'll show you why. Because if you don't create this gap here and if you keep it closed, it's a weird angle that these legs have to go into, and it makes it so that the treads don't really sit flush. So I believe that you have to use these hinges and get this area flat or parallel to the ground. That's my guess. And again, this stupid peg doesn't secure. So that's what I'm going to do first. The first thing I'll do is tab that in. Make sure that you push all the way in here. See how there's no gap there? That's what you want. You'll go ahead and double hinge these down, these thighs. And then these are also kind of double hinged treads that you pull out and back. Like so. And that's how you get them kind of parallel to the ground. On this side, I'll show you very quickly if you don't do that. So if you try to just push this in without doing that, and then you pull these down, and you try to pull this down, like it doesn't sit like level. Like you'll see that this is sitting a little bit, a little bit lower than this one. So I believe you have to double hinge this piece. Oh, what happened? Oh, hold on. Sorry, folks. I think my gimbal. What's going on? Sorry, folks. I don't know what's going on here. My gimbal seems to have died. I don't even know how I'm going to do the rest of this review then. Because without my gimbal, I can't review. I'm at a bit of a loss here. Did it run out of battery? Oh, we might be back. Hold on. Well, be kind of weird for a second. No, not that way. Yeah, it's acting super weird right now. Like it doesn't seem to know what level is. Well, you know what? We're just gonna have to keep going at an angle. So, as I was saying, this thing was supposed to be pulled out a bit on the double hinge on the shoulder joint. Tab that in, and then now we'll do the rest of the leg. So the rest of the leg is pretty easy. You just open up the calves, and then you just fold it in on itself. These, like Ben's Collectible was talking about, like you have to extend stuff like that. I don't think you have to do any of that nonsense. You basically just need to collapse the leg on itself. Make sure to unlock that upper knee joint up here and make use of that full extension. And you're going to tab in this tab on the inside of each foot into his butt here. And same as with this one, make sure that there's no gap. Once you have that, you want to extend that weird toe hinge piece. And that's it. So get all the way down. Make sure to get that tabbed in all the way. It's tempting to just lock it in gently, but yeah, you want to lock it in all the way. And that's it for his alt mode. We have to do a little bit of cleanup up here, but you get the idea. This is his alt mode. He has little tiny wheels, plastic wheels on his treads. That don't really work all that well. His gun, fold up the handle here, fold this out. And he has a weirdly shaped slot on his knee joint, which is not very tight. And then this one, as I mentioned before, you want to move this peg into the middle, and then this piece will peg into his backpack, but it will peg in like this. So you want to rotate it up like so. And that is his alt mode. It doesn't look great. For Ravage, he can't go in his chest anymore because remember we filled that void up partially with his head collapsing in. Ben's Collectible talked about how this is supposed to fit in between his legs. I don't know. He doesn't show it at all. There's no seeming indicator that this can go in here. Maybe with these gaps, you're supposed to put these legs in between. I feel like that's a little bullshitty because there's no indication of that. I've tried to look up other photos. No, I don't know if that's just a fan thing he tried to do, but he didn't even show it, so I think it's BS there. But that's it. It's not the best of alt modes. It's just like a big folded up chunk. He has streak to compare to. He's very, very blocky. He's like 2.5 streaks tall. A little bit longer than 1 streak. Yeah, it's not the best. I did see some other folks do some fan modes where they spread the legs out and they had these off to the side to make it look like a boombox mode. That was actually cool. That looked pretty interesting. You can attach Ravage with some glue. Wait, do we have Deluxe in here? Hey, Deluxe, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while, I feel like. Oh, McLucher G. I've been ignoring everyone. We've been having so many problems. Hey, Lowell. Lowell says, wow, what an incredible alt mode. It's a... Exactly. Clinical says it's better than a pancake. Oh, yeah, that thingamajig. Yeah, the alt mode is... It's something. It's not nothing, I guess. Let me pause real quick and see if there are any questions on the live chat Q&A. All right. Does he have a lamppost mode, McLuiter asks? I don't know. And how much does he weigh? Ignore if you've already done this. He already did this. I think it was like 522 grams, 1 pound, 2 ounces, something like that. Somewhere in that neighborhood, McLuiter G. All right. I don't think... Did I miss any fan funding? I always do a poor job of that. Okay, no. All right. That's totally fine. All right, so yeah. That's really it. It's an alt mode. It's really doesn't look like much. It really just looks like you could probably recreate this with a non-transforming figure and probably get pretty close to this. Like, I wonder if I could just do this with 3-0 and get very, very close. All right, so let's go ahead and transform these guys back. I guess we'll do Ravage first just because. So Ravage, we're just going to unfurl his limbs. That's basically it. His 4 paws, I guess. Just remember to close up that gap so you don't have like a huge gap there. But other than that, I want to bring this around, close up this panel here, hind legs, unfurl those, do these. We're going to bring the back half down. Actually, I don't want to close that up because I want to get the tail down. And then I always like to use this gap because I can't get this head out normally like this. It just doesn't want to come out that way because, again, you have to make a little bit of clearance. See how his nose gets stuck there? So I always have to use the spudger, come in underneath and just kind of help him get out. There we go. Like so. Close this up. There we have Ravage in his alt mode. Rawr. All right, and now we'll go with this guy here. So we'll take the blaster out first. Shoulder cannon. We'll just move it to the back peg. Straighten that out. On this section here, we'll just go ahead and straighten out the toes. Pull up on that tab that went into his buttocks. Straighten out the legs as much as you can. These treads, you're going to want to push up and in. You can get these double hinge thigh covers up. You want to untab at this section here. And then just straighten out the legs. So remember the knees joints have double knee joints. You want to lock the upper one into place. So that's the lower body. Upper body, we want to unpeg these. Get these butt flaps down. You're going to want to come in like so. Peg those in to connect the upper and lower body. Let me scooch up here a bit. All right. The arms, we're going to untab here, untab here. We're going to get this down for a second. We'll just get the arms out of the way. So unpeg this section here. And really, there's no easy way to get this rotated up. You just have to kind of get your finger underneath there. Rotate that up so that this screw will now be pointing to the sky. Now we can come back here, fold this gap filler down, fold it up, get this down. There's a peg that goes into the side here. Then we can get the arm around. We'll go ahead and close up this panel. And then we have to open up the inner panel. Rotate out the fist, rotate that 90 degrees, close that up. That's one arm done. Same thing on this side here. We're just gonna open this up, untab up here. Just kind of manhandle this until you get this rotated up and around. Get this gap filler folded down. Fold up the tread. Peg this piece in. Get the arm down, bicep rotated, close up the back panel, open up this panel, get the fist out and rotated. And we're very, very close. Now we just have to deal with this backpack essentially. So we want to open these tabs up, open this up. Remember to extend as far as you can on this telescoping column here and try not to scratch up your figure. It's very tight tolerances here and clearances. I do not like that portion of the transformation. Once you get it cleared back though, you have to collapse it down. Otherwise these pegs here, when you fold these closed, will not align properly. Fold in these sections. And then lastly, we just need to extend the head. You can either do that by opening up the chest panel here, or you can open it this way. Actually, you can't open it this way. That will block it. So open up this chest panel, come in from underneath and just push upwards. And there we have Soundwave or Sonic, what was this called? Sonic Warrior back in robot mode. We'll go ahead and tab this back in to his right shoulder. And there we go. So, final thoughts on this guy. Unless you get him on sale, I don't think he's really a great figure. He feels a little cheap. A lot of the joints are kind of loose. Some of them are screws though. And I've tried tightening them to see if they helped out, like these knee joints here. I've tried to tighten these and these with little to no effect. And some are not screws, so like these ankles here are a little loose. The arms, they just feel really kind of cheap, to be perfectly honest. If you get them on sale, maybe at around like I don't even know what a good price for this figure would be. He does look good though. So if you want a transforming figure to be able to say you have a transforming movie Bumblebee movie Soundwave, I think he's your only option. But again, it's a very rough transformation. I would just say go ahead and get the 301. It's a lot cooler, feels a lot nicer. Even the paint is a lot nicer. The Ravage is a lot nicer. And it actually comes with instructions on how to transform the Ravage. I would recommend that. It comes with a nice stand. I mean, it just looks a lot better. But if you're a weirdo like me and you like your Transformers to transform, he might be worth getting. Let me see how much he's actually going for right now. Let's see. And especially with Black Friday in full effect. 11/11 day. Some of the Chinese retailers do that. Let me see what Sonic Warrior is going for. They don't even have them at Show Z, so I don't know. And they don't have them. Toy Dojo doesn't carry it either. So you might be out of luck just because it's been so long. Yeah, Sonic Warrior was $180. Definitely, I would say not worth that. If you can get it for maybe closer to like 130-ish, because he is a pretty big figure, he does come with a decent amount of accessories and a little, Ravage here. If you can get him for like 130-ish, I think it's still a pretty good deal. So maybe if you can get them for sale somewhere, I would recommend them for about that price. But otherwise, I would say go ahead and get the 301. I think it is a very, very much better overall figure, and it looks more accurate overall. So let me see if there's any last questions before we close off today. Let's see here. Where did my video go? Oh, just close out the poll. I asked if you preferred the Bayverse or Bumblebee movie design for Soundwave. 82% of you prefer this design, which I agree with. Robot Show Team says, if a Transformer doesn't transform, it's a Gundam. I don't know about that. And a Transformer whose T-Cog is broken is a former Transformer. Nice one, Shirokuro. Deluxe, such a nice person. I recommend Pig all the time. Well, I recommend you too, Deluxe. I love you. All right, so I don't think we have any other questions for me. Let me see one last time. Yeah, no more questions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live stream as usual. I appreciate a like, share, and subscribe. That's really what keeps me motivated. I think I said this was week 45 of 52. 52 weeks a year, right? So we're getting close, and I haven't broken my streak yet, my New Year's resolution. TFCon next year, yes, Deluxe definitely will be going. It's in our neck of the woods, so I'll definitely be going next year. Yeah, I'm excited. I was gonna try to go to Florida and then work, and then I also got super sick, and my daughter was sick. She had like an ear infection literally the night before, so a lot of things got in the way. But I will be there. I will see you there. TFCon next year is Toronto, and then also, well, they have LA, I guess, in January, but then they have Toronto and then Baltimore. So thanks, Titan. I will keep the streak going. Very excited about that. I actually did a lot of videos this week. So I did a short, I did a toy hunt, and I did a review. But there will be more to come because I did a lot of cleanup. And I have a bunch of other figures. I still have Bingo Toys Waveman. There's Shockwave from also the Bumblebee movie. I also have Monocrat, which is the Megatron design from the Bumblebee movie. So I guess it will be... And then I also have the 3-0, which I literally just opened. So it might be just a whole bunch of Bumblebee movie reviews coming up in short succession. But yeah, that's it today, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy. Thanks a lot for lifers. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.